What's up, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. If you're like me, you love your sport bike, and you're always looking for ways to make it better, faster, and cooler. We've all been there, scrolling through forums, watching videos, and dreaming about that next big upgrade. The aftermarket world is massive, a playground filled with shiny parts promising more horsepower, better handling, and a look that will turn heads everywhere you go. But here's the hard truth: not all mods are created equal. In fact, some of them are a colossal waste of your hard-earned money. They promise the world but deliver very little, sometimes even making your bike worse. So today, we're going to cut through the marketing hype. We're going to talk about the sport bike mods that are, frankly, a waste of money for the vast majority of riders. The goal here isn't to hate on anyone's build, but to help you spend your money wisely on things that will actually improve your riding experience. Let's get into it. First on the list, and this might be a controversial one, is a full system exhaust on a brand new bike. Now, don't get me wrong, I love the sound of a roaring aftermarket exhaust as much as the next person. And yes, a full system can unlock some serious horsepower. But here's the catch: a modern sport bike, right off the showroom floor, is an incredibly well-engineered machine. Manufacturers spend millions on research and development to create an engine and exhaust system that work in perfect harmony. When you slap on a full system, you're not just changing the sound. You're fundamentally altering the engine's breathing. To actually see those horsepower gains advertised on the box, you need more than just the pipes. You need a dyno tune. A professional tune will cost you hundreds of dollars. And without it, your bike could run lean, lose low-end torque, and develop a jerky throttle response. So, that $1,000 exhaust just turned into a $1,500 project. For street riding, the tiny percentage of peak horsepower you gain is something you'll almost never use. A simple slip-on exhaust, on the other hand, gives you 90% of that glorious sound. And a bit of weight savings for a fraction of the cost, without messing up your fueling. For the average street rider, a full system is just overkill. Next up, let's talk about cosmetic carbon fiber. I'm talking about the little stick-on bits, the tank protectors, the gas cap covers, the triple clamp overlays. Real structural carbon fiber, like full fairings or wheels, is a different story. That stuff is incredibly strong and light, used in racing for a reason. But these small, purely decorative pieces, they're often not even real carbon fiber. Many are just plastic with a carbon look, hydro dip, or a sticker. You're paying a premium for a fake look that adds zero performance. In fact, it adds a tiny bit of weight, which is the exact opposite of what carbon fiber is supposed to do. $100 for a piece of plastic that's going to fade or peel in the sun. That money could buy you a track day, a set of high-quality brake pads, or even a good chunk of a new set of tires, things that will actually make you a better, safer rider. If you love the look, that's your call, but from a performance per dollar standpoint, it's a total dud. Don't fall for the carbon fiber fantasy unless it's the real, functional deal. Alright, let's move on to adjustable levers. Specifically, the ultra-cheap, brightly colored ones you see all over Amazon and eBay for $20 or $30. They're local, they promise price tanked. But this is one area where you absolutely should not cheap out. Your clutch and brake levers are critical safety components. They are your direct connection to stopping and going. These cheap knockoff levers are often made from poor quality metal with sloppy tolerances. I've seen them fail. I've heard stories of them bending under hard braking, or the pivot points wearing out in just a few months, leading to a floppy, inconsistent feel. The anodized color fades quickly in the sun, turning that vibrant red into a sad-looking pink. A quality set of levers from a reputable brand like ISV, Pazzo, or CRG is machined from high-grade aluminum, has precise and reliable adjustment mechanisms and is designed to last the life of your bike. Yes, they cost more, but what price can you put on your safety? Don't risk a catastrophic failure just to save $100. Your brakes are not the place to cut corners. Now, for a big one, steering dampers on bikes that don't need them. A steering damper is designed to quell headshake, which is a violent side-to-side oscillation of the handlebars that can happen under hard acceleration over uneven surfaces. It's a serious issue, and on high-powered superbikes, a damper is essential safety equipment. That's why they come with them from the factory. However, on smaller displacement bikes, think your 300s, 400s, and even most 650s, headshake is extremely rare under normal street riding conditions. The geometry and power output of these bikes are simply not aggressive enough to induce it. Adding an aftermarket steering damper to a Ninja 400 or an R3 is like putting a roll cage in a Toyota Camry. It's a solution to a problem that doesn't exist. Not only is it a waste of several $100s, but if it's not set up correctly, it can actually make your steering feel heavy and slow, hurting your bike's natural agility in corners. You're adding weight and complexity for no real-world benefit. Unless you're a dedicated track rider pushing the absolute limits of a smaller bike, save your money. Let's talk about air filters. Specifically, performance aftermarket air filters. The marketing is brilliant. Breathe easier, make more power. It sounds logical. A less restrictive filter should let more air into the engine, and more air means more fuel, which means more power. The reality for a modern fuel-injected sport bike is a bit different. Your bike's stock air filter is already very efficient and is designed to work perfectly with the factory ECU tune. Swapping it for a high-flow aftermarket filter might net you, if you're lucky, 1 or 2 horsepower at the very top of the rev range. That's a gain you will never, ever feel on the street. What's the downside? These high-flow filters often sacrifice filtration quality for airflow. They can let finer particles of dust and grit into your engine, which, over thousands of miles, can cause premature wear on your cylinders and pistons. You're trading long-term engine health for a completely unnoticeable performance gain. Stick with the high-quality OEM paper filter and just replace it at the recommended service intervals. It's cheaper, and it protects your engine better. It's a simple case of if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Another money pit can be flashy, cosmetic lighting. I'm talking about underglow kits, color-changing halo headlights, and strobe lights. While some auxiliary lighting can improve visibility and safety, these purely cosmetic additions often do the opposite. First, in many places, specific colors like blue and red are illegal for civilian vehicles because they mimic emergency services. Getting pulled over and fined is a surefire way to regret your purchase. Second, the wiring for these kits is often low quality. If you're not an expert at electrical work, you risk creating short circuits, draining your battery, or even causing a fire. A poorly installed light kit can cause more headaches than it's worth. Instead of spending a couple $100s to make your bike look like a prop from a sci-fi movie, invest that money in being seen in a more effective way. A high-visibility helmet, a bright riding jacket, or a brake light modulator that flashes when you first apply. The brakes are all far better investments in your safety and visibility on the road. Finally, let's talk about ridiculously oversized rear sprockets. We all know the principle. Changing your gearing is one of the most effective ways to alter your bike's character. Going up a few teeth on the rear sprocket, or down one in the front, will give you incredible acceleration. It makes the bike feel punchier and more responsive. But there's a point of diminishing returns. I've seen people go up 10, 12, even 15 teeth on the rear. Sure, Your bike will wheelie off the throttle in third gear, but you've completely ruined its versatility. Your top speed will be drastically reduced. You'll be shifting constantly. And highway cruising will become a nightmare, with the engine screaming at high RPMs just to maintain speed. It puts unnecessary wear on your chain and sprockets and kills your fuel economy. For most street riders, a modest change maybe, plus 2 or 3 teeth on the rear is all you need to liven things up without sacrificing usability. Going for an extreme stunt setup on a bike you use for daily riding or commuting is a classic case of sacrificing 90% of your bike's functionality for 10% of niche fun. So there you have it. 7 common sport bike mods that, for most riders, just aren't worth the money. Remember, the best mod you can ever invest in is yourself. Spend that money on a track day, an advanced rider course, or even just a good set of tires. Those are the things that will truly make you faster, safer, and more confident. Your bike is probably amazing right out of the box. Ride it, learn its limits and your own, and then make smart, targeted upgrades that address a real need. What do you think? Are there any other mods you think are a waste of money? Let me know down in the comments below. I read every single one. Thanks for watching. Ride safe. And if you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button and subscribe for more content. We'll see you in the next one.